All right. Hello, 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 everybody. I'm so excited. Today I have Keva Hall on the show, and we're going to get into some things. Okay. Dr. Keva Hall, by the way. Yes, Kiva, I'm so happy to have you here. Guys, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. If you know how this thing goes, like you already know, okay? It's tech. I had a call that was last minute. I was on the line with one of our membership members, and I was like, I don't even have time to put on some mascara. So, y'all gonna get it
Mm,
how you get it today.
mm.
I'm super
Love to
excited
see
to
it.
have Kiva here. She just explained to me two things. She said, girl, ADHD and anxiety. And we're going to talk about that today, especially as it pertains to getting on camera. Okay. If you are here in the comments, say hello. If you're watching the replay, say hello. Hi, guys. It's so good to have you all here. Kiva, you want to tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about yourself? Because we would love to know more about you.
sure. My name is Dr. Keva Hall. I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I specialize in anxiety, self-esteem, depression, but mainly I've been kind of niching down into talking more about ADHD, and really helping people understand the symptoms, understand the importance of you know, incorporating the news that they know about ADHD within their identity and not feeling ashamed about it. So being really unapologetic in the way that they show up. Most of the people that I do tend to work with have been late diagnosed, and they do what I call proof work. They're usually coming in because they've had to prove a lot of things, prove that they might have been fighting battles that people don't see, and still to this day need some help around that. So what we do is really kind of start with the core of giving them information about what the diagnosis really entails so that they could actually better advocate for themselves when it comes to, you know, advocating how they want to be treated,
Wow.
deciding how they want to show up. So I get really a lot of joy and entertainment, not at
Yes.
the client's expense, but a lot of glee from just seeing people's perspectives shift about themselves, and
Wow.
it's great. Hmm.
Wow, I can only imagine. First of all, whew, so much to unpack there. I feel like I have so many questions. And of course, I'm going to lead it back to the challenge because you were a part of our last Camera Confidence challenge and you were one of our superstars who was pushing through, showing up and creating. And it was just so amazing to see you in that light. But let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
ADHD.
Yeah.
Which is something that I feel like so many people struggle with, especially in this day and age. I feel like we have so many things that amplify the ADHD experience, like distractions, and we're seeing everyone killing it online, and we're comparing ourselves to those people. So dealing with a little bit of RSD and just all the
Yeah.
things that are happening. And I feel like I'm also seeing so many conversations online about the woman that I love working with specifically, the super smart woman, the genius woman, super qualified woman, the women who are out there killing it in the boardrooms in their own businesses, you know, in the offices, on the floor, wherever it is. And we're now realizing that so many of these women, right, and I'm
Yeah.
including myself here, are getting
Mhm.
either the understanding of, oh, okay, I'm not like everybody else, right? Something isn't like, I don't think like everybody else, so I'm not processing things like everybody else,
Yeah.
or they are getting late diagnosed, right? Where they're like, oh, okay, so I do have ADHD, or I do have autism, or I do have, you know, and it's a lot to, like you said. I wish I could go back into my childhood and show my parents some places where like y'all couldn't see what was
Yeah.
happening. And then I know that there are people that I'll tell and they'll be like, oh, you could just pray that away. Or
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
or they'll give you an answer like, "Oh no, that's not true. You know, you weren't like that." Or I'm from a Caribbean background. It could also be "Oh, you're making excuses for, you know, cuz I was always last, always late. I was the like, you know."
Mm, mm, mm. And when
And
I
I'm
think back on
yeah.
stuff like that, it makes me really curious and, holding space for people with that. There's a lot with that. So tell me a little bit more. I'm sorry, interrupted you. I'm going to make
Yeah,
a
no,
disclaimer right
it's totally fine.
now. I'm actively in my ADHD
Same.
um, tense right now. So if I do interrupt you, I want to make
Same.
room for the apology ahead of time. I'm going to try my best, but this is something that I'm
Ooh.
all the time, even as a therapist. So yeah.
Okay, so guys, we just learned a lesson, a really important lesson, because when you have ADHD, you overtalk people all the time. Because we're trying to wrangle all the things we want to say in here, and then we're
Hmm.
still trying to we're still trying to show up at the same, like, you know, get the thing out. And I love that Kiva gave an advanced apology of like, hey, you know, I might slide in and interrupt you sometimes because I'm in that zone. I never thought about it like that. You know, I usually think about it after, like, I'll say, ooh, I just cut you off. I do apologize, kind of thing. But I like that precursor, right?
Hmm.
Hey, Shakima. But, and everyone else who's watching with us here today. But yeah, so yeah, I kind of was done speaking. I was saying that, you know, I was last in class, like in school, like when I say school, not like grade wise, because in the Caribbean, we get graded like, you know, first, second, third. So I would always end up like
Hmm.
around seventh or eighth, right? Which to my parents, girl, you were last. Okay. And then, hey, Courtney. And then I would say, like, you know, in the mornings when I was getting ready for school, I was always very slow, you know, slow to get ready, or and I would just get lost in my thoughts. But it wasn't that they understood that something was happening. Like I would daydream. Like even in
Mm.
class, like I would have a whole sequence or a whole movie, like just like happening in my head. Or you know, like if it's like sports wise, that's when I would be dead last, girl, or second to last, like, you know, like
Wow.
if we were running races. And I'm so grateful that I didn't
Hmm.
let all of that affect or determine or dictate my entire life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, enough about me.
The amount that the amount that you figure out even on your own, I think is pretty spectacular, and I'm always amazed by that experience. You know, when I got diagnosed, I cried because
Yeah,
not because I was sad specifically about the diagnosis, but just about thinking about the missed opportunities that I had, and
absolutely.
the time under all that tension that was not otherwise explained. Because, like what you're saying, you're probably pretty spectacular in a lot of ways, and you move through life
Yeah,
in that realm. And there's all these signs, so
all these
I
signs.
get a lot of interest in seeing people kind of put two and two together. It's almost like
Yeah.
watching The Sixth Sense. Almost every time I open up my social media app, somebody's talking about something related to ADHD. And yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, like even when we think about like running a business with ADHD, or,
Yeah.
you know, like that in
Hmm.
itself, there's so many moving parts, so many things that you can focus on, so many things you can hyper focus on, you know. There's a lot going on in life in general, and then us choosing, and I think it's also out of like survival. Like
Yeah.
I was looking at a woman today. She was in her car crying, and she said she's doing Uber Eats. No, she's doing Uber, not Uber Eats. Uber because she doesn't have the capacity in her brain to fill out a form or sign up for a job, like a different job. But she's also very tired of doing Uber, you know. And so she was kind of sharing that, and like I think also what I'm getting at is sometimes like entrepreneurship is the only way for some people that are
Yeah,
neurodivergent, because you just can't see yourself in the in the workplace abiding by
yeah,
rules and like
yeah,
just all that comes along with. Does that make sense, Kiva? Like, you
yeah,
are the
absolutely.
expert.
Like, the constant struggle of being found out, or
Mm,
because the way that our brains are working, a lot of times people think it's about more top down processes where you could exercise motivation just by the sake of having it. But a lot of times you need a certain level of dopamine just to be able to do that. And so a
yes.
lot of times, we may, as a society, say, well, just tough it out, the tough love. And that could take you but so far. I remember reading a book by, I forgot his name,
Grab that
Delivered
book,
from
girl.
I forgot
Ah.
his Edward M. Hallowell. He wrote
Ooh.
Driven to Distraction, but this was one called Delivered
Oh,
from
delivered
Distraction.
from distraction. Wow.
And I have it on audiobook too. And I remember a particular point where he was saying, even if someone were to put a gun to, which is a little bit graphic, put a gun to someone's head that has ADHD and say, do it, the threats of that would still not be enough because of the way the brain works. It's either you kind of have enough or you don't. And
Absolutely.
I think similar to the way that other organs in the body work, you either create enough or you don't. But there's something about mental health when people think about the brain or the mind.
Hmm.
They There's a lot of like philosophy and self-help that talks about like having will over it, and we do utilize that within coaching as well as therapy.
Yeah.
So that's true, but I think that there's some things, no matter what you will, you do need some fail safes to
Mm.
get it done, get the job
Yeah.
done.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, you were saying, yeah, trying to get people to like grasp that as a concept and accept it is a process for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
And even in speaking about that, let's speak about the backbone of every business, the
yeah.
marketing.
Mhm.
Right?
Man, yeah,
Talk to us about someone that, is struggling with ADHD or is neurodivergent, and they're also thinking about how they're showing up for marketing. What does that look on like what does that look like for you or on your side of things? Because I know it's not the easiest thing in the world
yeah,
at all, because I myself struggle and
yeah,
had to build systems around, which is a lot of what I teach too.
yeah, yeah,
To
which I'm
keep
so
me
grateful
like
for.
focused.
Well, yeah, yeah. What your space offers, and is what something that, in the future I would hope to do something similar. Not obviously within that lane, but there's a thing within social psychology called social facilitation, where people sometimes end up working harder when they're in groups. And we
Yes.
find that that is really useful for people who specifically are neurodivergent, because especially if you have ADHD, um, like you said at the top of this call, you could have a million ideas all at one point in time and it still be difficult to execute it. So I've sat on this, I could speak from my experience, and,
Yeah.
I sat on this dream for a long time. I remember I purchased a program like in 2015 or 2016, maybe 2016.
Hmm.
And I like had the best intentions, started to do all the exercises, but I was kind of alone in that process, and life continued to life. I
Yeah.
was a young budding professional and trying to figure it out. I had the
Yeah.
perfect job that actually created content for me. And even within that,
Mm.
I wasn't thinking outside of the box. So usually, I could help clients solve their own problems, but when it comes to like my own,
Oh, yeah.
I kind of could see it, but it's almost like I'm
Yes.
watching myself,
Yeah.
struggle. And a lot of that was occurring with trying to get organized around video creation. And
Yeah.
then the thing that you market to that I think really drew me in was I was at a place where I was ready, but years of having the experience with ADHD and just like knowing that I could be organized 1 minute, but it doesn't hold.
Mm.
And then feeling nervous about how I sound
Yeah.
on the but which I
Yeah.
realize is part of the process for everybody, and just the lack of accepting where I am. You see all the things
Mm.
on TikTok and Instagram, and even things that you and the sage Rio kind of talk about, her partner talk about, are in one ear, sits for a little bit, and then the minute that fear sets in, it it kind of you don't even affirm that anymore. And so
Absolutely.
there's something nice about having the constant connection to be able to like check in about that and try to um, make sense of it,
Yeah.
and the good job and the high five that kind of keeps you going. You mentioned something earlier about the power of imagination. You didn't use those
I didn't,
frame.
but yeah, literally, that's what I was doing.
You said daydreaming, right?
Yes.
But daydreaming is just another fancy or simplistic way of saying
Imagining it.
manifestation.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that early stage, you kind of knew it makes you feel good. The brain cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's like imaginary. But when you are in a space of daydreaming, you can access certain types of feelings, and you could probably get a lot of things done. So there's something about when you're paired up with people who are also in the space where they're like, I'm gonna make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're a little bit further than you, and the comparison thing does get to me too. Like, dang, like I'm just out here just trying to make one video. Like, this person has a whole business plan. Like, dang, like I'm who I think I am. That kind of stuff. But then realizing that I could also change what my goalpost is. And for me, it was like if I could just even get one video out, I'm like in a way better position than I am before. I sat in this apartment for years before I actually decorated the wall. So that was the first one.
Yes. That was
'Cause-
a win. That was during our ECAM class where we were
yeah,
designing our sets and our spaces. And Kiba
yeah,
has the most beautiful space, y'all. And so she was like, okay, I'm going to do this in this. And like you're saying, I think it's just about everyone's doing it, because whenever I do that class, everyone is designing their space, they're designing their studio, we're positioning cameras, we're figuring out where things are going to go. And so she was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And she started, placing pictures, and we started telling her, no. And it's such a beautiful community because we're all like, shift that to the left or shift that to the right. And
and the
so
lighting and mhm.
exactly. And so she was able to get her space set up. When I first met Kiva, she told me, Zaylee, if I can get one video done, I would be happy. I would be so happy about that. And that was with her having nothing set up. She had all of the tools. We just had to get a few little extra things to, integrate into it. She had been wanting to do this for a while. And
Mhm.
so, we were able to, okay, in that class, we got that together. And it's kind of like, okay, so you get that done now. And now you're like, well, damn, what's the next step? Which is when the challenge came around. And so the challenge was what actually got you activated. And I
Yeah.
loved watching you bloom and blossom throughout the Camera Confidence Challenge, because you were able to, because there was a time frame to things, which again is what you just said worked. You bloomed so beautifully because I saw you like deciding, okay, I don't have this, I don't have that, but I'm going to do this, or I'm going to focus on this. And you were so determined throughout that challenge. It was such a
Mhm.
blessing to like watch you show up and share. And then as you were progressing, finding your stride as you created another video. I was so proud of you. What was that
Yeah,
like
yeah,
on your end? Like knowing, okay, y'all, I just got my set up and now it's time for me to actually do the thing.
yeah. It was pretty great. It was great. I felt a sense of relief the minute I did the wall. Because
Mm.
even like, it even in some of the very, very earlier videos, you'll see like there's like placements there because I'm a Virgo. My birthday was like 2 days ago. So you already know what it is. Like
Happy
I
birthday
I gotta
again.
thank you. Yeah, so I made a decision, but it also was, I think, framed around uh, the fact that my lease was going to be coming up, and I
Yeah.
was like, man, I've been here and I haven't even like utilized the
That
space, and
part, yeah.
I'm always fighting with the 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 experience of, or the framing of capacity. So
Mm.
I'm always trying to make peace with where I am capacity wise, and I'm always thinking about how I could, just take a little win from it. It doesn't always work,
Hmm.
but I get capacity envy about other
Yeah.
people's, what their capacity seems to be. And so whenever that's happening, I have to like scale my goal down. And what I loved about your community was that even though I might have still engaged and dabbled in the comparison, component of what happens within my mind, I I felt so fly.
You
I felt so fly.
were.
Everybody hyped me up. I was hyping me up. I had a friend come over,
Yes.
she was hyping me up, and I think I felt fly because I got started. I got
Mm.
started, and I felt fly because I finally did the thing that I've been wanting to do. So
Wow.
it in the very same way that I even talked about getting the diagnosis and having a moment where I cried, like I felt emotional at different points during the camera confidence because you were giving us like prompts,
Hmm.
and you know you said, okay, you don't even have to like post your video like for the world, but you got to post it for people to see, so if you want feedback. Now I could have said, no, I'm good, but I said, I need more of this hype up, like
You
what's
did.
up. I was trying to get the high fives and the good job, and maybe that was something that my inner child was needing in times
Yeah.
where I was still technically doing a good job, but no one really understood just the amount of effort that goes into something like that for someone who is like painfully scared.
Yeah.
Someone who teaches people to not be scared. And here I am in
And
this
that was your
space.
biggest thing, right? You were like, how am I? Because the challenge is really about storytelling. A lot of us are not sharing our stories enough, y'all, at all.
Hmm.
And so that was one of Kiva's like biggest concerns. Like, how am I, as a therapist, going to show up and be vulnerable and honest? And I'm the one that is the cheerleader for other people or, helping other people through this. And that was really one of your concerns. But I feel like there's
Yeah.
so much beauty. Of course, you have to find, you know, uh, a specific way to do it, in your case specifically. But there's so much beauty in that, like honesty or transparency or that connection to the people that, because it's kind of like, oh, you're not perfect, you get it.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're not talking
Hmm.
to me from a place of my brain doesn't even operate the same way your brain does. I mean, even in our membership, when Kiva starts speaking about ADHD, when I tell you the room is like if you look at the full room, we're all like, yes, because I like, wow, like I remember being in therapy and well, yeah, just feeling like I don't know if my therapist understood like the struggle of, because I was also struggling with like, should I go on medication or should I not go on medication? And she didn't want me to. I mean, she didn't tell me outrightly, but I knew that that's not what she wanted for me. And I kind of hit a wall to where I felt like, but man, I don't know if you understand how debilitating this is for
Yeah.
me, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I never did. I started learning the skills that I need to,
Yeah.
But I'm also not opposed to it. But it's kind of like that. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's so true. I was just telling my therapist the other day, actually yesterday.
hmm
The Adderall situation is like trash right now. Like even
yeah,
if
I heard
you
so.
come to me and say, hey man, I don't want to take medication, and I can't even be upset at them because even if they wanted to, the way that
Yeah,
with the Adderall right now, you still have to learn the skills, and pills don't teach skills, but
that
they
part.
definitely alleviate a
Yeah,
lot of the extra weight of what you're carrying. So you end up having to become even more superb because you're not taking the pills. And that's the thing that I think also makes a lot of people sometimes in the space of denial because they're like, oh, I'm able to like listen. But yeah, it takes a concerted amount of effort to stop your brain from wandering. Like you're constantly
absolutely.
it. And the pills may not necessarily like do all of that, but it does things like help with safety things. We're
Yeah,
very accident prone. Driving could be a whole hot mess.
yeah,
And yeah, there's a lot of um, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but it's just it's an actual component of it. There's a lot of things that could increase mortality just by
yeah. Wow, I never thought
un,
about it like that.
yeah, health related things,
Yeah,
um, poor eating because maybe it takes a lot of effort to
to put
you
a meal
know
together or to cook a meal or to you just want to grab something quick.
absolutely. You say, "Oh, make something like do this, what's this thing, like this meal prep?" I
Yeah.
almost feel like I would love to, and I'm thinking about it, like make a group specifically about
Oof.
getting together on Mondays and meal prepping
Let me tell
because
you.
it's hard out here.
It is. It is. But the craziest thing is, whenever I do meal prep, my weeks are so much easier because I just go to the refrigerator and warm that, versus for me, sometimes I'll spiral. I'll, and I don't realize, oh, you haven't eaten, or I can't even, I don't know what it is in my brain. Like, I can't even walk to the kitchen and put a meal together right now because I have so many things going on up here. And
Yeah.
so it's just easier to say, you know what? If I just press a button on Uber Eats, they're going to be here in 20 minutes and then I can
Mhm.
just eat that and I don't have
Yeah, 20
to.
pounds later,
Isn't
20
that
pounds later,
crazy?
you're like, you're wondering,
Like, what
you know,
happened here?
yeah, well, you know what happened, but then you end up feeling maybe some shame about it. But the real
Yeah.
cause of it is
Well, I
the
feel
initial,
like, right. I feel like for me, there was a time where I didn't even know what happened. I just woke up one day and I was like, what happened?
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because you have seasons where you're in survival mode, and that's just the easiest thing for you to do. And now I can look back and I can be like, "Oh, girl, you were eating this every day. That's wild." Yeah,
Hmm.
it's so crazy.
Laundry's a,
You said what?
I said laundry's a gimmick. All these household chores, they could kick rocks,
Kick
but I
rocks.
get it.
So I just heard a really cool series,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna have you just make sure I'm saying it correctly. Pills don't teach you skills.
yeah. Pills don't teach skills. They don't. They're important. Pills also don't give you something that your brain doesn't already have. I learned that too. A lot of people feel like, oh, I don't want to take pills because, oh, it's going to do whatever. Like the issue is that your brain may make dopamine, but it may not make enough, or it makes enough, but it sucks it up. It's like greedy. It reuptakes the dopamine quicker than you have time in the day to use it. So what
Wow.
the pills would do, depending on the mechanism, is either make your brain, stimulate your brain to create more dopamine,
Mm.
which would help you not do crazy stuff like jumping. Like we do things naturally to kind of create more dopamine. We get in maybe risky situations, and so there's like this pull towards, the dopamine inducing behaviors, but not all of them are really positive. Exercise is a
Wow.
positive,
Yeah.
and so the medicine helps to either create space for the dopamine to like stick around so it doesn't reuptake the dopamine too quickly so you have enough throughout the day, or it stimulates something within your the receptors so that your brain could make more of it. So sometimes
Wow.
the ADHD is really one or the other, or both of those things happening at the same time, where maybe you have not enough, or you're not making enough, or you have enough, but you're just using it too quickly. So the medicine
Wow.
makes the option. So pills don't teach skills, and medicine in the way that it's formulated doesn't give you anything that your brain doesn't naturally create. The other option is that you don't take pills and then you have to go around seeking dopamine in sometimes
Yeah.
unhealthy. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, you're so right. Whoa. Kiva, we need that series from you, okay? Pills don't
Yeah.
teach you skills.
Mhm.
Because there's
Mhm.
like people need education around all of this stuff. You know, a lot of it is so new to a lot of people. And even if, like you're saying, I feel like it's good for both sides. Like, even if you have decided to take medication, like, there are still
Mhm.
skills that you need to learn so that, you know, hopefully you're maybe not on it for the rest of your life. How will you cope? I've seen people get off of ADHD meds and they have no skills to continue,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Or I've seen people, I mean, sorry, and there's the other side of things to where you maybe choose not to. And so I can listen in and listen to like things that you're talking about to, you know, learn some new skills. Like what are these skills that we should be learning? Like time management or time blocking or body
Yeah.
doubling, or there's so much that you
Mhm.
can learn. And I had to learn I can be supported, you know, like
Mhm.
I don't have to feel this way forever. There is support. Right, Jasmine? Kiva with the gems.
The
So,
gem.
you know, Kiva, what was your biggest takeaway from doing the Camera Confidence Challenge and actually starting to put content out there? Like, and I know there are challenges as well. So, you know,
Yeah.
feel free to speak about those as well. But, you know,
Yeah.
maybe you can share a bit of both if that would be helpful for
Yeah.
you.
Say the first part again, the
Biggest
takeaways.
takeaway from the Camera Confidence
Mhm.
Challenge.
Well, one, that I'm not alone, that other people are out here trying to do the thing as well. And that it could be really useful to just create my own. Give me a second. I'm constructing the answer as I talk.
No
So
worries. I do that all the time, y'all.
I'm
I'll
like,
be let me tell you.
I mean, I guess there's so many things, and I'm having a classic moment right now where there's a lot of things that I want to say, and I'm trying to organize it. So give me a second.
Yeah, no, take your time. Take your time. I think
I'll,
it's so cool. Sorry, are
mhm.
you if you're ready? Oh, I
No,
was
you got
gonna just say I think it's so cool for us to have this conversation because I don't think this is a open front facing conversation that I've verbally had. I put it in the caption sometimes that I am,
Yeah,
but even recording and I have an idea, or sometimes I'm live and I have like five different things happening at the same time, and I have to be
yeah,
like, y'all better shut up, so I
yeah,
could get
yeah,
this one
yeah.
thing out.
Yeah, and I'm glad
But
that
yeah,
we're taking time to like even display this right now, because I think it's
absolutely.
another
I think
way
it's
of saying
helpful.
it gives
Yeah,
us permission
you're not
to
alone.
be, to like ask for a pause, if anything. You're a
Absolutely.
gracious host, and so you've made me feel very comfortable this entire time, even within the program. So I think the rapport helps with being able to like even say, "Hey, could I pause a little bit?" Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just take a stab at it, but just know that this answer is still developing, and maybe when you're about to say goodbye, I'm gonna say, "Oh wait, I found this other thing."
Absolutely. That sounds familiar.
So animated right now. So I would say the biggest takeaway that I got is that it's okay to put something out
Mm.
that is not fully ready yet. And in fact,
Mm.
you guys encouraged me so much that I even put something like that in one of my videos. I said, I think you asked the question, like, what is the thing that might be holding you back? And I was like, oh, I'm about to go off on this. I'm about to say, I got ADHD. I'm out here trying to teach people about ADHD while fully ADHDing. What if I put stuff out and say, oh, I'm going to put things out on Monday, and then Monday comes and I don't put it out? I'm going to be the worst right now. And
Yes.
then I put on my therapist hat that's fighting with my me hat and just like, keep it on, like, chill out, like, relax. But it's true. It's a constant battle. I am
Absolutely.
everything out. Um, I try to do the cadence that everyone else does, and I'm still aiming towards that. But I think recognizing that the goalpost is really determined by you. You gave space to kind of say, hey, get these things done, try to follow along with the program. But if you do 5 videos, if we're on like day 7, I think somebody was like, oh, I'm mad late, and you were like, man, you're right on time, just
Right on time.
chill
Yeah.
out, relax.
Yeah.
Like, there's no space for that type of talk here, you know.
Hello.
I feel like I got that genuinely, like, within the space, because there were also some of my cohort members who were working, parenting, doing other stuff, and still trying to show up for themselves in this way. And it
Absolutely.
was among good company, and I was among good encouragement. And I think for me, I keep bringing that up because as someone that I think is really scared, as someone that is also like a professional that sometimes people may think shouldn't have that experience. Not that I don't know anyone actually says that, but that it almost feels like that's the position that you may be put in as an expert, that there's no space sometimes for you to be um
Human.
needing help. Yeah, human. Like, my clients be teaching me. And sometimes I'll be like, all right, Dr. Kimberly, I'm just making
Yeah.
up a name, by the way.
Yeah.
Dr. Kimberly, go off. Like, tell me
Yeah.
what's up. Because really I need you today instead of you needing me.
Hello.
But it's kind of that same vibe. And I will say the other thing that I feel was a great takeaway. I mean, I think you said it in a way that I don't know if you went on social. I think it will hit home for if you went on social media
Mhm.
and said this, but I was happy to be in the inner circle hearing this when you were like, to all of us, I'm paraphrasing, not your words exactly, but this is how I heard it. Y'all fly. There's some people out here online, they just got a platform and they don't even fly. You are fly. Like, you got it going to put your stamp on things. And the only thing that's standing between that, you and them, is that they started.
Period.
And we all know we came for that message. It wasn't an easy thing to hear, but it was one flattering that you think that,
Hello. And I meant every word.
period. I was so excited that you thought I was fly. I was like, well, here's a fly, real, recognizing real. Finally,
Hello.
somebody
Hello.
recognized. Um, and it hyped me up because
Yeah.
I think, especially as someone that's late diagnosed ADHD, there are times, even within all of the accomplishments that I have, that I do not feel fly.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I have to hold that sometimes, just,
Yeah.
all to myself. So I think you kind of recognize that that was um, a a message that I think we all needed to hear. And I took that really personally. And I was just like, okay, yeah, like, Zaylee says that I'm fly and I just need a, platform. Like, I hear it a million times, but I don't know, maybe I was in a position where I was ready to hear it. So
Mm.
that was helpful. There's something very powerful about being encouraged. And I'd say that any community that you're in that offers that is worth its weight in gold 10 times over.
You know what, Kiva? Thank you. Thank you so much for that and for sharing that. I think it's really because behind the scenes, I work with so many amazing people. And as soon as
Mhm,
they step into a Zoom room or sit down with me, whether, either way, I
mhm.
am always in awe of the people that I work with. period. Like their stories, their experiences, their knowledge, their wisdom, like it always blows me away. And because my brain is so visual, my
Mm-hmm.
imagination, I'm always thinking like, damn, like you're not telling the world this message, you're not on camera, like you're so dope, you know so much, like,
Not
there
the
are
dope
people
part.
out there. I'm just saying, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm speaking like most qualified, amazing, like killing it in their spaces or, wherever they are behind the scenes. But when it's time to get in front of that camera, it's kind of like they forget all the experience, all the years they put into it. Um, Everything just kind of goes out the window. And that is my God given mission, to
Yeah.
extract that and make sure that the people who deserve to be seen, deserve to be amplified, deserve to be lifted are able to step out there and get their message out there. That is my work. That's my life's work. That's what I wake up and think about in the morning and what I think about before I go to bed. And so when I'm saying that, I genuinely mean I see you. And that's why we do the challenge live in that way. And I've gotten so many people saying, oh my gosh, like, even the price of this challenge for what you get, how you come out on the other end is too low, Zaylee. And I'm like, I'm going to raise it sometime. Right. So y'all better get in because we're starting on September 15th. But I feel like, I just want to be able to hold space for that live. And I want to learn people's business. I want to hear their stories. I want to meet people. I want to connect with people. I hope to do this live in person one day for sure,
Yeah.
because I feel like it would be so transformative. Like, you map
Mm-hmm.
your things out and you're able to record on the spot with us and things like that. But like that is when I tell you guys these things, it's not because I feel like, oh, it'll be cute. I mean it. Like from the heart, because I see what's going on in the online space every single day. And I see that there are people who know way less, but they're okay with that spotlight, that attention. They're okay with criticism. They're okay with a troll saying something and that rolling off like water off their backs. They're okay with someone saying, oh, I don't like your hair today. They're like, well, that ain't the message, but whatever. They're sure in what they're coming here to say, and they're not even thinking about half the things that and I'm going to say we, and of course it's a risk for me to say we because, again, kind of like you, right? Being a therapist and coaching people, like what kind of coach shares her weaknesses, right? But I show up in my action. Right? So, I'm living, breathing, eating, doing this every single day, teaching, coaching, creating
Yeah.
content, going live, podcasts, videos, whatever it is. That's my gift. That's
Yeah.
I have to show up to do that. Is it easy? Heck no.
No, no. And I think within the field, the mental health field, because the origination of it was like philosophy and a lot of white males that kind of started things. They talked a lot about blank slate. And so the idea in
Absolutely.
terms of you being able to be an effective helper, even though we kind of know and we dismantle that as a society, it's still kind of like a standard that in app
Absolutely.
that exists where if somebody was going crazy on TikTok the other day about like I think they dated a therapist and they were like dragging her online, and it was like, first off, how dare you? And then
That
second
part.
off, like she's dating you. Like this is not like your whole like purpose was to kind of make people feel like just because you are a therapist that you don't have a life, and it just was
Yeah.
terrible. But
Wow.
I understand where that's coming from because I think in some ways it has impacted me even.
Yeah.
So part of I think what's really crazy meta about my experience, especially as someone that's late diagnosed ADHD, is that the profession of psychology in the way that I practice it as a psychologist calls for masking. And if
Yes,
I'm
I agree.
just got diagnosed and I'm out here teaching people to be authentically themselves. And I'm trying to also do the same thing in real time, which is really difficult. So I could appreciate clients who are trying. My thing is, this is really kind of quite fitting that
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm gonna unmask, I'm gonna unmask. And
Yeah.
so it also means, responsibly, but
Yeah.
still, what does that look like and how do you define that? And so everyone is, with the videos right now, I would say, like, um is on a journey with me with this process. And I do think I take a little bit longer to make videos. Not anything I'm particularly feeling ashamed about, but I think it's because I'm still literally in real time working through what I'm hoping people could get, which is,
Yeah.
yeah, I have a video. I might have not put it up. I want to put it up right now, but analysis paralysis, and it may take me, 3 days to put it up. So just know that everything that I would do, magnify that by like three or four.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Absolutely.
I'm
So I want to speak about that for a little bit, and I'll tell you
yeah,
why.
yeah. Tell me.
This is why I teach what I teach in the challenge. So in the challenge, I teach you how to use the unique method, because we're
Yeah.
all different. We're not the same person at all. And so the reason why I teach this framework that I had to study and dissect and look at all the things and look at all the people and all the things, and I created it for myself, right?
Oh,
And I decided to share it because I started sharing with clients and they started seeing a difference in their content. And so I was like,
mm,
okay, so I will, and it's hard to integrate this into the challenge, but it's so needed. I'll tell you why. There is so much beauty in you being able to unmask in a way that allows for you to take the things that other people might see as a downfall and put a mirror to your audience and say,
mhm,
hey, I am going through this as well. And this is what I am learning. As I observe myself, I'm also understanding you on a deeper level, and you might be going through the same thing in another way. And
mhm.
so that's what relatable content is about. And I think just watching you process that throughout the challenge was so beautiful, because you were able to find ways to be honest about what you were going through and share with them. Like, yeah, it's going to take me longer. Yes, it does take someone with ADHD longer to do things, right? And if we
Mhm.
don't know that that could be a symptom or, a result of, we are going to beat ourselves up and we are going to compare and end up in an RSD spiral of like, how
Mhm.
come so and
Mhm.
so can do XYZ in no time and I can't? Like, why am I not? I'm as smart as that person. Like, why am I not able to XYZ? And so that can end up to where you just decided, I'm just going to keep scrolling and watching everybody. And I just know that I'm not good enough to do any of this stuff. So I'm just going to give it over to them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's the other side of it too, where if you're like young Zaylee as an adult and still and really heavily engaged in daydreaming, you have a lot of ideas. You write things
Absolutely.
down in places. You even maybe decide what you're going to do. Then you get connected to Chat GPT, which is
Girl.
kind of nice to help organize your thoughts. Um, and as a check, but you have these amazing like ideas for videos, but the capacity about doing it, could be a little bit thwarted. One, because of ADHD, but also maybe the other residual of ADHD, which is the anxiety around being perceived and showing up, and maybe
Absolutely.
rejected. Like it's like the worst. I think Rio said it, and I took it to heart, because you don't know pain until you like spend like 15 hours working on a video while you still have clients and whatever, and you get like one view. Like, what is that? What is that? But,
Like,
but
where y'all at?
it brings me to the last thing that I remember. I said I was going to probably keep rolling with that thing. You talked about this being a long game, and everything in my ADHD identity is like, we don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I'm like, I've been waiting for 6 years before I started. Why is this not? Where's my check, YouTube? What's
What's
up,
good?
Instagram? I'm waiting. You
I'm
know
supposed to have 1 million followers. I uploaded one video. Where
exactly. Exactly. Don't they see that? Yeah, yeah, it's gonna take another 15 days for me to get to the second video, but why can't they wait? Don't they see that I'm like hot right now? I'm dropping pure ADHD fire right now. Nobody else is saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. What's up? Nothing. But yeah, I learned that, and I'm constantly metabolizing that message.
yeah.
Like right now, I only have like 24 followers. I said that before the month of August ends on like TikTok, which is very like kind of sweet to me. I say they hype me up. I was
Yes.
like, all right, if I just get 200 followers, I'll be like cool,
Yeah.
like. And so I'm grateful for my little 200. Actually, let me not say it that way. That sounds very condescending. I'm grateful for my big 200.
Yes, yes, because I did a thread yesterday about 200. It's so funny you're saying this now because it
Yeah,
went viral on Threads, and I'm about to make a video out of it too. Those are, and I said it. I said those are 200 bodies.
yeah. No,
Okay,
and you checked in one of the meetings,
I
right?
sure
I think
did.
you were included in it. You was like, hold up, wait a minute, like, so you want me to just like unfollow you, Keisha? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I could do that. I could take
Because
my
my
followers
view is
off.
not enough. She's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
used to y'all. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I check myself real quick, but I didn't also come down hard on myself because I think it's a part of the process. Like you're
It
always
is.
looking and comparing yourself. So
Or
I
wanting
know it.
more. Sometimes we
Yeah,
don't like, we're not thinking about, and that's just like us. I feel like it's really hard for us to ground ourselves and be so grateful for this moment that we're in right now, or for this bottle
hmm,
of water that I have right now, or I think it's we're built to, and this is not only ADHD, this is capitalism on the whole, where more and more and more and more and more, that person has more, they have more, I want more. So
hmm,
it's like that's gonna make me feel good. And for me, I had to find things that actually that I'm in control of. Courtney
yeah,
saying, run me these funds, YouTube.
hmm,
Things that I'm in control of, like, man, like I'm so proud of myself. I put a little extra magic in my editing. So, I learned how to do shadows in my editing now. So I'm so glad because now I know how to do that. Or, oh, wow, I edited 4 short videos today and it took me way less time than it used to take me to do so. Like, those are the
yeah,
things that I'm looking to now for improvement versus like, did this video get 1,000 views? Or I thought this one was gonna be a banger and I put it out
yeah,
and it's crickets,
yeah,
y'all. Like,
yeah,
those things, I learned not to focus on those things because they will also end up diluting my art so
yeah,
much that,
yeah. But
yeah.
I still get a win from it because I I'll go back and watch my own videos and get a chuckle out of it. And
Period.
so I watch it like how I be watching everybody else's videos, and I'm like, all
Same.
right, y'all don't man, I think this is hot, but this cracked me up. This made me so excited. Like you said about like, oh, the way I edited this, I didn't know how to do this. I figured it out. I may not remember it because I didn't write it down, so I have to do it all over again for the next video.
Yeah.
But at least I got it in this one. Yeah. So you're right. You're right about that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a learning process, but over the
Mhm.
years, I had to find things that grounded me, like, okay, this is 200 bodies, these are real people, or like, oh wow, like the same people are commenting every single time. I'm actually building a tribe so that when something takes off, people will see that there's a tribe here and we have a vibe, we have a relationship, we have a community, and you better hope you're good enough to be in this community, like kind of
You're
thing.
right.
Or
You're right.
yeah, like those are, and I will say that is the mindset that has helped me, even though I have a small concentrated audience. I was
Hmm.
able to go full time very early in my business, or I was able to collaborate with huge brands, or I was able to do things that creators who have way more followers than me, or, whatever it is, weren't able to do, or I was able to learn so much. Like, let me turn my skills into programs or coaching. Or so those are
Yeah.
the things, because those are real relationships that you're building. The people that are going to sign up and pay you. There's a lot of people who have a lot of subscribers and a lot of followers, and they cannot get people
Yeah.
into a program or to buy a product. So I
Yeah.
have to ground myself every day in the reality of this is what it is now. And guess what? When it busts, as we would say in the Caribbean, like when things go crazy, it is
Hmm.
gonna be so good because I've built such a beautiful foundation for people to come and binge all of the good things that I've been creating for a
Yeah.
while. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
See, it's advice like that that I need when I'm in a space of wanting to crash out, you know? I really appreciate it.
I'm gonna
I
send you a
really,
voice note.
yeah, like, Kiva, man, listen, chill, just chill. Like, you got this. You is smart, you is pretty,
You is
you is,
pretty. You.
all of that stuff, you know. But no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. And I think the thing that I really enjoy about like showing up, um, is, like you were, I went live for the first time, and you and Rio were the ones that were on the live.
Yes.
It meant so much to me. And this week I tried to, like, on Monday, try to go back live. Like, so I sometimes am like wanting to hide on my birthday, and I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
this is about to like go live. And I couldn't go live on my channels because of like where I am with the following. But what it taught me is like, all right, next year I'm gonna have that
You gonna work
1,000.
that up.
And it's
Exactly.
gonna be based on what you're saying. It's gonna be the tribe that needs to kind of like be in that space, that pocket. So,
Because we don't
you
want
know,
everybody.
yeah, we ain't for everybody either.
We ain't for
Yeah.
everybody either. Exactly.
My rejection sensitivity tells me differently. It says that I should be for everybody, and that
Absolutely.
if I'm not for everybody, then whatever. But I put it in check,
You,
especially for today. Hmm.
I love that, Kiva. It was so good having you on. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed, and just having you on the show today was such a highlight, especially this conversation. And I definitely want to have you on again so we can talk even more,
Yeah, I
about
love that.
yeah, because it's such a complex thing, and most of the women that I coach are neurodivergent. And yesterday, Jane and I were having that conversation of that
Hmm.
you attract who you are, even though it's not even exactly what you're putting out there. For some reason, like you're people like two dope women, we found each other kind of thing. Like you're
You
gonna
ain't lying.
find people along the way. So that's why it's so important for us to use our voices and put ourselves out there. There's a message that we all have inside of us, even if we're shy, introverted, neurospicy, whatever it is. That message deserves to be heard. You deserve to be heard. And what you have to say truly does matter. I just want to leave you guys with that message today. If you so feel called, I'd love to have you inside the Camera Confidence Challenge. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down below, or you can even send me a DM. I'm literally in my DMs sending voice notes. We're closing the doors tomorrow. So I do want to make sure that if you are able to get in, you get in. Just bet on yourself. Like, it's going to be such an amazing experience for you.
Yeah.
Kiva, thank you. Where can we find you? Where can the people find you? Like, do you
Uh,
have anything coming up that you want us to know about? Like, what's good?
yeah. I'm open for business, so you can
Yes.
find me at drkevahall.com. And my services are available there. I do coaching as well as like therapy. Again, my area of specialization is like identity, esteem, and anxiety, and specifically ADHD as well, and neurodivergence. So you could come on over there. I'm also on YouTube. Would not be mad, if you kind of came and checked me out over there. Same thing, Dr. Keva Hall. I think Dr. with the period, and then Keva Hall, KevaHall, like Arsenio. Um, and it's the same across Instagram. TikTok is Doc Keva Hall, but honestly, if you wrote in Dr. Keva Hall, like I'll pop up. So.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And Kiva, I see the family in the building. You guys are so supportive and sweet. I love it. They're out here
Oh, the
supporting you,
family's still
girl. Yes. I don't know if you can see the comments, but I see Desiree. I see
there? Oh,
Jasmine. I see
okay.
Courtney. Everybody's in the building. Okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I'm
So
gonna tell
shout
you
out to
when
you
you go
guys.
to
Uh-huh.
the thing.
Sorry.
Um, my anxiety was still kind of on full display today because what I did was I knew that we were meeting,
Yeah.
and I waited until today to put it out there because I was grappling with that. See how it is? I clocked it, but I slid in
So
at the
you put it
last
out
minute.
there for, but Kiva, I want to say, okay, so y'all, this is the Kiki after the live. This is the after
Yeah.
show now. I do want to say that I do admire that you do catch yourself and you do
Hmm.
challenge yourself because, like you said earlier, right? I said in the challenge, you don't have to put it out there. And you went the extra mile. You were like, nah, I'm putting this out there. Or even the other day we spoke and you said, you told me a few things and, you were like, well, I'm going to try to go live on my birthday. And you did it. And at the morning it wasn't going to happen and you figured out a way for it to happen. Or even like you're saying today, this conversation, like you weren't going to put it out there and you put it out there. I want you to really like give
Yeah.
yourself your flowers, honey,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you do push yourself, you catch yourself like you say, and you do push yourself in
Yeah.
so many beautiful, I don't even want to say tiny ways because those things are not tiny. And this stuff
Yeah.
is not easy. Being on camera, deciding to be visible, making yourself the star of the show. We're not taught to do these things. We're not brought up to put ourselves in the spotlight.
Hmm.
In my country, you'll be too enough, or like, oh, who you
Hmm.
think, who like what you think. You
Or,
who do
or
you think
somebody
you
might be
are?
bad mind. It's
Absolutely.
protected. Bad mind. You don't want to, get bad vibes. Yeah. 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 On Front Street. Yeah.
All
You're
those
right.
things. So there
Yeah.
are so many barriers that we have to work through in order
Hmm.
to have the confidence to even show up. Even like right now, I'm on here with a a scarf, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like I said, I was ripping and running today. Now, I hope it looks fashionable, but at the same time, there's gonna be that person who's like, "Ooh, and I'm a dark skinned black woman." There's so many things that are always working against us,
That's
right?
like that's a positive, and the light is giving
I mean,
right now.
I'm cute, but the world doesn't always feel about us the way we had to learn and work hard to feel about ourselves.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that make
Yeah.
sense?
Makes
So
sense.
sometimes the world catches up after because they're gonna catch up, honey. They catch up after. So that's the
Mhm.
thing, I just want to give you your flowers because you do push yourself in a great way, and I love to see it. So y'all, thank you for being here. Oh, I see. Is it NASA Lily? Am I saying
Oh,
that correct?
naturally, naturally.
Nasali. Nasali.
Yeah.
Hey, Nasali. And hey, Christopher. All right,
Mhm.
y'all. I appreciate y'all for watching. Again, let me know if you have any questions. We already know where to find Kiva. Down below in the description box, you can find her as well. I know a lot of people are going to watch the replay. Really appreciate you guys. Enjoy the
Yeah.
rest of your evening, y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye. Of course, I struggle to find the finish button every
Yeah.
time, girl. Bye, y'all.